Here's the big changes now they're looking to do.
And the next phase of our plan to deliver the greatest economy in history is for this Congress to pass tax cuts for everybody. They're in there. They're waiting for you to vote.
Some of this should be great. You all should be happy. Do you like paying taxes, or you like paying less or no taxes? Yes, so shut up if you're upset about this. These are gonna help you. Lots to talk about today, folks. I thought, what better time to talk about the one big, beautiful bill? We've heard a lot about this, especially since last week you have the House that passed, barely passed, but this new bill that come in that talks about changes to our tax law and to just our tax, almost not system, but it is important impacts. Now, you hear a lot of different conversation of what, in fact, they're talking about in there. And this bill is over 1,000 pages. So I thought, hey, Mr. Taxman over here, this could be a great time to talk to you about what are some of the core items that are in there. Now, I'm going to go over a lot today, folks, so bear with us. We're going to go ahead and go over some of the key provisions and so on. I would say the first things I want to talk about is how in 2017 they passed those 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Acts. This was important because it was supposed to expire in 2026. Well, hey, we're in 2025, right? So come 2026, well, that's just, what, 6 months away? So yeah, we have to address some of these changes now. Now, conveniently, Trump's back in office. So let's see what they're thinking about. The first part of this type of policy that I want to talk about, the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, is the permanent changes to that 2017 tax cuts that they did. The first one is maintaining the current tax brackets that they have. The 7 brackets at the high end, 37, low end, 10%. Also, they're wanting to keep, which is kind of weird to me, I'll give you my commentary, whether you want it or not, of the $750,000 capped mortgage interest deduction. It used to be $1 million. They're going to maintain it at $750,000. That's annoying. Why? Because home prices are up almost 40% since 2020 nationwide. So yeah, the fact they're still keeping it is annoying, right? Because it's only a 1/3 increase if they did it from $750,000 to $1 million. So also, they're going to keep the increased standard deduction, and they're going to give it a temporary $1,000 boost. So for single people, that's $16,000 and $32,000 for joint filers. Here's the big changes now they're looking to do. Some of this should be great. You all should be happy. Do you like paying taxes, or you like paying less or no taxes? Yes, so shut up if you're upset about this. These are going to help you. First one, state and local taxes, the SALT deduction, which, what is that? What you pay, whether it's sales tax, what you pay in state income tax, if applicable, what you pay in property tax, car registration. They cap that at $10,000. Well, now they're looking to move that to $40,000 for people that make up to $500,000. Now, there are some sources of a permanent cap of $30,000 and decreasing it by maybe 20% for incomes above $200,000 single or $400,000 joint. But the point is, that is a substantial increase. So yes, that is huge. Also, hello, no tax on tips and overtime. Oh my God, that is a big, big deal. And the overtime would be through 2028. Because remember, that was part of Trump's campaign promises. Child tax credit also increasing from $2,000 to $2,500 through 2028. Then it reverts back to the $2,000 tax credit. Social Security tax relief eliminates taxes on Social Security benefits for the currently up to 85% gets taxed, anything over 35 or 34,000, or couples over 44,000. It would be a temporary $4,000 enhancement towards a standard deduction for those people from 2025 to 2028. Here's an interesting one. I mean, literally, there's so much in there. And guys, this is only a 30-minute show. Talking about the auto loan interest for people who make under 100,000 AGI or 200,000 married, you are talking about $10,000 of, auto loan interest. Auto loan you are able to write off. If you have a car loan, who wouldn't want that? I'm sure automakers really like that. Also, the Trump accounts, this is creating a tax-exempt Trump account. This was the formerly MAGA accounts, which are for children under 18. They're looking to put in a federal government deposit of $1,000 for every newborn. You know how we have a problem in this country of not having enough newborn? Well, they want to give you an incentive of $1,000 per kid that they're going to let grow and be invested, where then at 18 years old, it can be used for first-time home buyers, education, small business capital, whatever, and the taxation would be long-term capital gains or ordinary income rates for non-qualified withdrawals before the age of 30. Just yet again, cool stuff. Here's another one. Business tax provisions. This is the section 199A, which is the QBI, qualified business income, which currently net profits is 20% tax-free on certain industry types like manufacturing and so on, and certain income limitations. But they're looking to increase that to 23%. I mean, guys, these are all big news that's coming out. And there is a lot to go over in this, like I'm saying, but hey, this show's 30 minutes. By the way, folks, if you're just joining me, you're listening to Gabriel Shahin, certified financial planner, and your host of More Knowledge, More Wealth here and every weekend. And we're talking about all important topics of personal finance. And I thought, hey, everybody's talking about this big, new, beautiful bill that's coming out here. Let's discuss what some of these changes are. Again, for business, reinstatement of the 100% bonus depreciation, which is a Section 179 deduction up to $2.5 million. Right now, that is not the case. Adjust business interest deductions as well. Instead of EBITDA, it's EBIT for 2025 through 2028. Also, denies pass-through entity tax deductions for certain professionals, such as health, law, and consulting. These are what's called special trade businesses, where the business relies on the reputation or skilled employees. This would be an industry like mine. Estate and gift tax. Permanent increase to $15 million starting in 2026. That's a big deal. There was a lot of estate planning that was looking to be done, because if you're currently allowed $15 million or $30 million if you are married, and that now gets cut in half to $7 million, $7.5 million, and 15 if you're married, yeah, if your net worth is high, you're going to want to do some estate planning. They're looking to permanently increase that. Health savings account expands HSAs to, get this, allow for sport and fitness expense. That's your LA Fitness. Now you're able to get write-offs for being healthy. Maybe that's an RFK thing for, what is it? There's MAGA and the MAGA, Make America Healthy Again. So yeah, same logic there as well, and additional catch-up provisions. Other tax changes, get this, introduces a $5,000 tax credit. A tax credit, not deduction. You give $5,000, you get $5,000 back for donations to scholarship granting organizations through 2029. Dude, why would you not do that? Seriously, it's nothing out of your own pocket. You save money in taxes by giving it to other people. Also, this seems like a no-brainer. I was shocked this is currently around, but they're repealing the $200 tax on gun silencers under National Firearm Act. What the hell? That seems weird to me. What, we want people to have silencers? Like, that isn't that for murder? Like, is there another reason you would want a silencer? Whatever. I'm not here going to get an argument with the NRA. Impose a tax on remittance by non-U.S. citizens to family abroad. So I'm assuming if you give money to your family, whether it's in Mexico or India or whatever, there might be a tax for that. So we'll see how that goes. Increases taxes on university endowments. This is the big one. Up to 21% for endowments over $2 million, and private foundations, 5% of assets of $250 million, $5 billion, and 10% for $5 billion or more. Wow. Talk about going after the Yale and Harvard endowments. The repeal of the Biden-era clean energy tax credit, which is the $7,500. Man, I don't know. How does Elon Musk feel about that? That's $7,500 off an EV vehicle. He's looking to get rid of that. I don't know. Just saying, folks. There are so many changes that are coming up. These are just some of the ones that should impact a majority of us. That is a direct impact on tax savings, let alone on taxation as well, and credits, and so on. Now let's talk about the indirect impacts. What we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to talk about some of the indirect and spending cuts that they're looking to incorporate. And yet again, I'll give my input on it, right? But the idea of this is important. Now, the House did pass it. Still have the Senate. It was pretty narrow, but we'll see what happens here coming up in the next few weeks. But what I want to do is take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to finish talking about this big, beautiful new bill.
I wanted to offer you a free financial assessment for listening to the show so you can help relate it to your specific situation. We offer multiple services such as retirement planning, where you are today, how retirement looks like, talking about Social Security, real estate, planning, even if you own a business, talking about taxes, not just how to save money today, but also throughout retirement. Talk about investments, making sure you're avoiding those high fees, costs, commissions, and also estate planning and insurance, just making sure you're properly protected if, God forbid, something were to happen. And we're offering 1 to 2 meetings, 1 to 2 hours of our time at no cost. Give us a call. We would love to help. Our phone number is 855-963-2526. That's 855-96-FALCON, like the bird. Or visit our website at falconwealthplanning.com. That's falconwp.com for short, and fill out the form fill right there on our site.
Welcome back, folks. We are talking about this big, new, beautiful bill that's coming out here that the House has passed, and we're going over some of the changes. And we looked at the direct impact on the first segment. Now I want to talk about some indirect, some of the spending cuts that is in the bill. Yet again, it's over a 1,000-page bill. I wanted to give you some of the highlights that my team put together for me to discuss with you, and what I wanted to also give you some input on. Now, the first one is on Medicaid cuts. We're talking about $625 to $700 billion of cuts over the next 10 years. Well, my math says that's $62 to $70 billion in cuts. This is also a new requirement for children, able-bodied adults, 80 hours or more, starting December 26, and removing an estimated 1.4 million undocumented immigrants from the benefit. And yet again, some Republicans wanted even deeper cuts, while others just opposed to it altogether. Regardless whether you agree with it or not, they're wanting to repeal some of the spending that we have on our undocumented workers. So that is huge, and I could see where $60 to $70 billion in cost savings comes from. Continuing to the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, this reduces funding by almost $300 billion over the next 10 years. Yet again, that's $30 billion a year, just for simple math, with states covering 5% of the cost and 75% of the administration costs starting in 2028. Current states cover none of the benefit, and half of the administration does. So this is just yet again something else. Here's another one, student loan program. I don't know how I feel about this one. This repeals Biden-era regulation allowing loan cancellation, okay? But get this, for defrauded students or those who have closed colleges. So think about that. You went to school freshman, sophomore, junior, and all of a sudden ITT Tech or DeVry that, oh, by the way, may not be around anymore because they were considered a useless university, and now you're still on the hook because you got bamboozled? That seems weird. That just seems harsh. Talk about doing your due diligence of where to go to school. So anyway, that's there. Also, Inflation Reduction Act, right? So this is phase out and repeals the green energy subsidies, savings of about $500 billion. So this is the EV credits that I mentioned earlier, but it equals to $500 billion of savings annually. Like, holy macramarium Jesus, that is insane. Other cuts, eliminates taxpayer funded gender transition procedures for minors. I don't know. I don't know how everybody feels about that. And then, of course, in addition, is they're wanting to reverse the gig economy reporting requirement, which is the silly thing with $600 threshold, whether you get in PayPal or Venmo, that you would have to report in taxes. Ugh. Just weird stuff, huh? Weird stuff going on, but whatever. I'm sharing what this silly, big, beautiful bill is. Border security and immigration. So this bill here allocates significant funding for border security. That's the whole thing, right? Right? If you have a budget of $10,000 a month, right, and you're now going to start spend an extra $5,000, you have to cut $5,000 somewhere, or you're going to overdraft your checking account. So what the government is doing with all this spending and saving is they're going to allocate $46.5 billion on the border and $4.1 billion for hiring Border Patrol agents, $2 billion for agent bonuses, and $12 billion in additional border security funds. Deportations. They're still wanting to support mass deportation operation with funding for 1 million annual people to be removed. I mean, here's my thing. Like, if somebody's an honest, hard worker, I get the people who have criminal activity, get them the hell out of here. But people who are undocumented that are actually working, how about you just make them citizens? Obviously, they've been here, what, 5, 10, 20, some 30 plus years. Yes, they're undocumented. But for God's sakes, these people are working. How about you have them just pay taxes? Make them legal and have them pay taxes. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy, but it seems weird to have to deport somebody who's been in this country 10, 20 years, who hasn't done anything, who's contributed to society, right? Because they're taking that money and they're spending. And it just seems bizarre to me. So I sure hope this mass deportation is for the criminals that are out there, not for the good people that are out there that are contributing to society. I wonder what the cost will be for small business owners now having to pay a U.S. citizen versus somebody who's undocumented. So that could be a very big impact on us all. Asylum seekers, adding just a $1,000 fee for asylum applications, tax on remittance imposes a tax on money sent abroad, which we talked about earlier. By the way, folks, if you're just joining me, you're listening to Gabriel Shahin, Certified Financial Planner, and your host of More Knowledge, More Wealth here. And every week, and we're talking about all important topics of personal finance. And what's more important right now than the one big, beautiful bill act that's being presented right now? People are talking about it. I'm giving you the core topics to be discussed. Let's talk about defense and energy. This allocates $150 billion with a focus on uncrewed drones. So this is aircrafts, boats, underwater systems. So they're allocating a whole bunch of money to that. Energy production increasing. This increases leasing of public lands for drilling, mining, logging, and faster government approvals, and reduced royalty rates for oil, gas, and coal. This also authorizes sale of public land in Nevada and Utah, drawing environmental criticism, by the way. And then, of course, this repeals the Biden-era methane tax, promotes domestic and mineral development to reduce reliance on foreign adversaries. So now let's just go over like miscellaneous, because I'm almost done here, right? So other provisions. The JFK Center, okay, which approximate $257 million for capital repairs and maintenance through 2029. So it is appropriating funds to do that. You have then the AI legislation memorandum. This imposes a 10-year memorandum on state AI legislation. You got federal employee reform, eliminates FERS annuity. This is the Federal Employee Retirement System annuity supplement for certain employees. And it introduces an at-will employment option and adds filing fees for Merit System Protection Board claims. So yet again, this is being much more aggressive with federal employees as this administration sees that there was a surplus, and along with the Dodge initiative that Elon Musk led up, that there has been wasteful positions and spending. Yet again, right, wrong, or indifferent. Here is contempt restrictions, limits the ability to hold federal officials in contempt for non-compliance for judicial orders. So that is probably way bigger than people think. Now, if you look at the overall fiscal and economic impact, the deficit and the debt, the Congressional Budget Office estimates the bill will add $2.5 to $2.6 trillion in federal deficit over the next 10 years, 2025 to 2034. On the controversial basis, or by the way, 1.7 trillion on a dynamic basis, of course, when you're looking at that's roughly 0.8%, almost 1% of GDP growth. So this, of course, includes all the interest, the debt that it could increase by 3.1 trillion or 5.1 trillion if temporary provisions are extended without any offsets. The debt to GDP ratio is projected to rise from 162% to 167% to about 172% by 2059. So like the impact of this could be pretty relevant, right? So economic growth, right? The Tax Foundation estimates 0.8% of long-term GDP increases due to tax provisions through revenue losses, or $4 trillion over 10 years for expected both interest costs. So these, yet again, matters. The bill is, by the way, projected to save the average family $1,700 annually. I mean, whatever, right? That just is what it is. But when you do the equivalent to a 9-week of groceries delivery of $13,300 in take-home pay for a family of 2, and increases wages by $11,600 per worker. So the logic and the idea is we would have more money. Yet again, right, wrong, or indifferent. there is still like so many more conversations on legislation process and challenge. There's supports and critics perspectives. There's just in general the controversies and notable aspects of this whole thing, talking about Medicaid, debt ceilings, the public land sales, and of course just Elon Musk in general. All I'm here to say is this: what you should be focusing on is how it impacts you. You should be focusing on, yes, and I get the long-term issue. I get the national debt is something that is not sustainable. And I thought when President Trump cut taxes, even though I was very happy with it, in 2017, that took effect in 2018, it was crazy to me. America was spending more than it's bringing in. And then we cut taxes on top of that. That's like you making $100,000 a year, but spending $120,000 a year. That's $20,000 a year on credit card debt, right? Or overdraft. As a financial planner, I have two recommendations. How about this? Number one, work more, make more money. Or number two, stop spending $120,000 a year. Spend less. Pretty simple. My job's not complicated. But what happened in 2017, which took effect in 2018, was we actually, imagine me giving the recommendation in a situation like that, you spending 120, making 100, and saying, you know what? Take an extra day off. Work 20% less. How about you only make 80,000? That's what happened. And now you have a continuation of that, of what's going on. So the logic is this: with that extra day off, this is the logic, right? The other side of the coin. With that extra day off, maybe you can get another part-time job that maybe pays you 30,000 a year. Well, technically, you're not making 100 now, you're making 110. That's just the logic, right, wrong, or indifferent. That's what is going on here. And that's why it's so controversial. Because now you can argue now you have two employers that have not 100% of you. Are they going to be happy? Are they going to want to keep you? Are they going to want to keep somebody that's more full-time versus yourself? Do they save money on benefits? Do they not? Do they now have a higher employee count? This is just a theoretical conversation of why politics is so complicated to go over. Folks, that was a fast show.
I want to thank you for tuning in with us this weekend. You can always reach out to myself or any one of our colleagues here at Falcon Wealth Planning. Our phone number is 855-963-2526. That's 855-96-FALCON, like the bird. Or visit our website at falconwealthplanning.com. That's falconwp.com for short, where you can go and visit our Knowledge Center, which redirects you to YouTube. We have over 1 million views, folks. And if you want us to discuss anything on YouTube, on the show, whatever, send your inquiry to radio@falconwp.com. That's radio@falconwp.com. And if you want this episode, any one of our previous episodes, you can go on podcast, Spotify. We have them all there. And folks, we want to thank you for your trust. We want you to feel free and feel comfortable to reach out with any questions that you have. I want you to have a fantastic weekend. Have a great week, and God bless.